Okay, so it's my pleasure to be talking to Steve and Beth, and we caught up with them just recently, and it's so great to see them, and so great to be with you guys.
Great to see you too.
Hi.
So we're going to hear from them, and we're going to be praying for them. So I'm just going to chuck a few questions at you guys, and yeah, tell us what's going on. So tell us a little bit about yourselves, and where are you in the world right now? That would be great.
Okay, right now we are in a village called Pagadu Pattu, if you can say that. I'm impressed. So we are Steve and Beth, and we have two kids, Isaac, who's 15, and Olivia is 12. At the moment, they're out playing. They're sort of evening time, so they're outside. And that's us. We live with Steve's two brothers, who are just down in the next field, in the next house, and their families. And we work together with the three families working together.
Yeah, and where we are, Beth just said Pagadupattu, but where is that? That is in the south of India, in a state called Tamil Nadu. So it's a Tamil-speaking state. I mean, Tamil is the oldest language in the world, by the way. Oldest used language, shall we say.
Wow.
And
you can look that up online.
You can look it up online. So, I mean, maybe when you do meet together, if you have a map of India, it would be useful, and you can see where we are. We're near a city called Salem, which is our nearest city. It's around 70 kilometers away, which is about an hour, 2 hours drive average. That's our nearest, sort of city with hospitals and bigger shops. But we're up on the hills. Russ has been there, so he knows what we're talking about. It's nice, clean air, nice. It's not like the usual India, which is overcrowded and dusty. So yes, that's where we are, and this work here specifically focuses on the adults and children in this community, which is a tribal community in these hills.
Fantastic. It really is a beautiful place. Yeah, this time last year I was it was around this time last year I was with you guys, and it was such a great it's a great place that you live in. So tell us more specifically of what do you do in there? What's your role where you are right now?
So I'll go first. So I've got two main roles here, really. One of them is working with the church as one of the leaders in the church, and we work as a team where we're altogether 5 people now. So we work together, and we have various village church meetings going on, and sometimes in certain houses or sometimes in open spaces. And then we have a main church, if you like, building and a meeting place where, which we would call the main or the first church that was started. So that's how we operate here. We go into different villages and we meet in houses. I mean, that's sort of our major focus, house church. And so that I get involved with that, mainly on Wednesdays and Sundays. And then the rest of the week, that's Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday.
And Wednesday.
Thursday sometimes.
Steve's got 8 days in his week.
So I do my best to run a school out here. Again, school is mainly for the children of this area, and it's a school run in English, so that it gives opportunity for these kids to get decent jobs and just basically break out of the cycle of poverty, because English is a language of the elite in India, where normally it's only the rich kids get access to learning in English. So we're providing that for the poorer kids here. There are around 707. There's 777. So it's a really cool number. 777 kids in the school, And
Very biblical number that as well, isn't it? Lots of sevens.
we have around 55 staff working with us. And we have buses going out to the villages, which touch around 63 villages as well. So that's sort of the scope of the school, which I help to run, and I also do teaching as well whenever I have time. So that's me. And then Beth.
I chip into the school sort of wherever there's something needed and I feel I can contribute. So my main focus is literacy, and I've been working on the library a lot in the last year. Just get it up and running, functioning. Very different from a library that you would know in the UK, because our kids have no idea of what the library is, how it works. In fact, our staff have no idea either. So it's kind of educating them in the whole value of books, how to turn a page in the book. A lot of them will lick their fingers and turn the page, and we're like, no, don't do that. Very basic stuff, but getting them to just love books, which is one of my passions, and read. As Steve mentioned, we are an English language school, not a language school, but we teach in English, but it's a second language for every single student. It's not their first language. So it is a lot more work for the kids to learn and to study in English. Kids come into the school with not a word of English. So lower down, you're teaching them the alphabet as a foreign language. You're teaching them to read, their basic words as a foreign language. So that's where I get involved.
Fantastic. And the reality is Steve wouldn't be able to do half he does if Beth wasn't able to support him in a huge number of ways.
That's a big job to keep him in order.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us about how the coronavirus is affecting India and how it's affecting you particularly.
Well, I'm sure if you look on media or the internet, you can get all these stats, but India is not in a good position or place right now. We've had various measures of lockdown, from very stringent lockdowns to more relaxed lockdowns, right from March till today. So we're around 5 months now. And we haven't had a normal sort of lifestyle throughout the country for 5 months. And the sad thing is, even though we've had all that lockdown, the graph and the number of cases is just starting to shoot up. Just to give you an example, in June, it was only around 5,000 to 6,000 to 7,000 cases a day. And then it's in July now, at the end of July, we're talking around 50,000 cases a day. New cases every day. So
that's huge.
And they're thinking or predicting or calculating that the peak, there is no such thing as an Indian peak, because every state is having its own issues. So they're going to be different peaks at different times. But the consensus is that it's just going to get worse till around December. It'll just keep going up. So all states, different states are going to manage it differently. So in your case, it would be counties, and here it's states.
Yeah.
So each state have their own way of planning their own way of dealing with the crisis. It's affected the landless poor the worst. The rural poor who have land manage to have food.
Yes.
The land poor and all the migratory workers, millions of them, who were stranded when the government locked down immediately, are really without proper food. And it's sad that in a country with so much industry and progress that we're talking about millions of people without enough food. That's the wider picture. In terms of, is that okay, Russ?
Great, yeah, that's brilliant. And how's it affected you kind of personally in the school?
Yeah. So the wider picture obviously affects us on a micro level because the government restricts what we can do. So the school hasn't opened as normal, as usual. We would open in June, but we haven't been able to open. We've been closed since March, which is towards the end of our school year, and now into our new year. So it's a really important part of the year where we get people admitting their kids into school, parents coming and paying whatever they need to pay. All the planning goes on in these few months. And so it's been a very challenging few months, not knowing what to do because we haven't had clear guidance from government side. Parents ask us what we need to do, and we're like, who do we ask? So it's just been a sort of a period of confusion. But in the last month, in July, we've had some clarity, and we've managed to get a system going in school where we provide online teaching, and we've invested in some computers, and then kids who have mobile phones can access what we are teaching them. So this is the latest thing we're doing, but it's had a big, this whole thing's had an impact on our finances at school. But God's been good. A few gifts came, and some parents, were doing what they need to do. So we've managed to run till now, and we've worked out a budget which should keep us going till around November, December, if the parents cooperate. So that's a biggie for us. And another difficult thing I had to do this week was to talk to our staff, telling them that we had to furlough some staff. We had to reduce pay for some staff from 100 to 70%. So it's been tough when you know that they need that money, and they look up to you because they know that you're running an institution which they've put their faith in as well. So it's been tough, but they've taken it well. So that's a big one.
I think
Well done.
also staff who, as a school, as a work, we try to employ women who have no other income. So if we have a choice of employing a woman who has no income and a woman who has a family that could support her, we would take the woman who had no income. So at this time, to tell them, you're going to get less money is really hard, because we personally know them. We personally know their family situations. And we know that, in many ways, we are a lifeline to them as well. So,
yeah, that's really tough. Really tough. You guys do such a good job out there, and I'm sure there is much appreciation with the way that you're going about your business with kingdom values, that makes such a difference. And tell us about the church. So it's just a short walk, isn't it, from the site where the school is and your home is up to the church. What's happening there? How is that being effective, and how's that going?
Yeah, so again, as in the case of school, with churches, the government have restricted public gatherings. So all religious gatherings have been restricted. Just this month that they've opened it up for no more than 10 people at a time. So, our various church members have been quite excited that they could come to church on a rota basis. So what we've done is we've got various village cell groups or village groups, and we give them an opportunity to come in on a rota, whichever week, it's they come in whichever week is their turn. So and it's really, I think it's been difficult because for 3.5 to 4 months, there was no social fellowship. There was no fellowship in church in person. And so when they did first start coming, it was like, wow, this is what I missed. And, and we as church leaders really felt that, it's great that they can appreciate how important fellowship with one another at church together, is so important, as opposed to just, meeting here and there, but coming together. And they really miss that now. And then we've used online again. We do recorded and live streaming YouTube messages and worship and all that. And we have church leaders or our pastors team who go around to the villages, and for those who don't have mobile phones, they take their mobile phone and play the service and the worship and encourage them. So it's like we've got a very flexible approach. There's no one rule fits all. Some people have access, some people don't. So we make sure that everyone gets some spiritual food every.
That's really good. That's really good. Well, there's loads going on with you guys and in all that you're about. How can we pray for you here? Give us some help.
Well, how big a list do you want?
Give us three key things.
For the church believers, they haven't had real fellowship for quite a while, and some of our believers are illiterate, so they're unable, and they have no smartphones. They're unable to have input other than what we are able to give to them. And I think to just pray for the church believers that at this time they will be able to connect with God in a way that they haven't, just between themselves and God, and not relying maybe on what they can receive from other people, but really grow deeper in a connection with God and really know the power of the Holy Spirit in their lives, especially for the older generation and who are isolated in their villages, and also for the others who are unable to meet regularly, that at this time there will be a hunger and thirst for them to connect for themselves with God.
Yeah, and then I think to do with church again, just pray that we have wisdom in identifying those who really need help, because what we're doing is we're sending out food packages and essentials to people who are really struggling. So just, you know, I think the prayer point would be so that we would be wise and discerning, and also we would be getting the right information at the right time to help the vulnerable.
Brilliant.
And then protection for the church leaders as they go to the villages with the COVID issues, and also for the school staff, with all the different parents coming in. So it's protection for our leaders and our school staff and us and our wider family here as we interact with hundreds and hundreds of people, even though it's lockdown.
Yeah, that's excellent. And that's so Steve and Beth, where most of the prayer requests are for everybody else. How can we pray specifically for you at this time?
I think, you know, we've actually felt blessed during this time. We've had our kids home from boarding school. Normally they would be in boarding school at this time. And we have known a period of where God has helped us really reconnect with the kids. We've had the joy of watching them growing, maturing spiritually and in character. So that's been a real blessing.
Yeah.
But the really missing their friends, because their friends aren't local. Because they're in a boarding school, their friends are all in boarding school and everyone's dispersed all around the world. It's, you know, kids come, they're missionaries from all around the world. So they've suddenly been left without their friends. And technology draws you closer to a certain extent, but, you know, you still miss your friends a lot. And it looks like school's not going to reopen until maybe February. So they've still got a long way to go. They've got online school. Isaac's in his GCSE year, so he'll be taking his exams in May. He'll have to do a lot of his learning online, which isn't easy. You know, we are able to help him with some subjects, but not with all the subjects.
Yeah.
So yeah, really pray for them and their education. And just sanity really for the two of us.
Yes, definitely. I can vouch for that. Steve and Beth work very hard, and they're doing incredible work. It's demanding and taxing, and right at the forefront of ministry.
I'll say something before you close, Matt.
Yeah, go on, Steve. Final words.
Yeah.
Well, not final, but tonight anyway. Today.
No, this is for all our friends at Citygate, for all those who know us, and for those who perhaps are seeing us for the first time on this Zoom recording. We just want to say, and I've said this when I came to Citygate last time, we would not be able to do what we do here without you guys praying for us, without you guys supporting us.
I think we've just lost you for a moment there, Steve, hoping that it's going to come back. This is Indian internet, and we'll see if that's going to kick back in anytime soon.